what does group therapy actually even look like? And what are the benefits of it?
That's a really great question. What we know about addiction is addiction thrives in isolation. So group therapy is actually one of the very best types of therapy for addictive behaviors. Not everything requires a group, but things that fester in isolation is really good to have a group for. Depression can fester in isolation, of course. Sometimes depression, anxiety is difficult in a group setting because there's, social anxiety, things like that. We can complicate things a little bit. It's scary to think if you have anxiety and an addictive behavior, am I going to be able to be successful in a group? And again, I want you to understand that we know that a part of your anxiety comes from your addictive behavior. It's kind of like a loop. We don't know where it started. Maybe when you were 11 years old, you were exposed to pornography, you started using it, and it actually stirs up chemicals that the after effect of the chemical actually causes anxiety and depression because your nucleus accumbens gets overloaded with dopamine. And when it gets overloaded with dopamine, it becomes desensitized to dopamine. So the body is always trying to give your body a boost, and adrenaline is one of the best ways to give it a boost. And so adrenaline actually is kind of the source of a lot of anxiety. And when we don't have dopamine, that's a source of a lot of depression. So we know it's this loop, right? And so people who are having some mental health concerns also get worried about, well, can I be successful in a group? And I would say absolutely you can be successful in a group and you can feel secure. You don't have to talk about your specific problem or your behavior in our group. One of our rules is you have the right to answer questions and the right to remain silent. So you don't have to be an active, super active participant if you really are feeling uncomfortable that day, but you can expect that the women are going to wrap their arms around you. The first few times you come is always a little bit nerve-wracking, but after that you just get into the groove of it and it just becomes part of, oh, I feel a little empty this week because I didn't have group. So there's always going to be that little bit of hesitancy at the beginning, but the beauty of group is that you get to hear other people and their battles. And you get to say, oh, that applies to me. I can use that in my battle today. And so your battles become easier to kind of tease out and understand.
Yeah, I have loved that, watching that environment as I've attended the groups. And even the women, when someone else is sharing, you'll see people in the chat saying, oh my gosh, me too. I've had a similar experience, and it is truly a unique environment and a sisterhood that is created that is nothing but beautiful. I think it's just a beautiful environment for healing that creates kind of a safe space for you to show up and be real and be you and be loved right how you are, where you are.
Yeah.
There's a piece of the program, that the journal that you have. Would you explain it to us a little bit about the journal?
Yeah, so our journal is a little bit special because in our women's group, it's a very feminine type of approach, right? We talk about a princess and how her kingdom is getting ravaged, and we help the women kind of connect to this sensation of I'm a princess, and even though I don't want to be a warrior, it's time for me to step up and become a warrior. And the other thing that we kind of talk about is getting lost in the maze of darkness and why it is that we are susceptible to certain types of messages. And we always say Satan is not creative. He tries to get you to believe the same thing that he tries everybody else to get to believe, and that is in some way you're not enough or you're all alone. Those are the two things he really wants you to just believe. And so he's going to try to isolate you and make you feel you're not enough and you're all alone. And we talk about getting into the maze of darkness, and that's part of our journal. But we also have a really interesting, what we call one of our goals, which is our L goal, our learn goal. We want to encourage our women to learn more about the attributes of God. And so we have a mindfulness exercise in our journal that they do once a week. And it's just a coloring exercise along with listening to music, kind of connecting with how it is that God is meeting our needs and what are the characteristics that he has. It's a little bit guided. We give you music that you can choose from to help you kind of focus on one aspect of God each week. The goal is for you to kind of get that sensation of feeling the gift of the Holy Ghost working within you, so that you can begin to connect with the atonement.
I do. I love the journal. It's a very feminine, like you said, but yet helps you feel that sense of power and confidence to go forward. And I just love that it's a little bit guided, because I know for myself, sometimes I need a little guidance. So it's been a great tool for me to receive personal revelation. I love that that's included in part of the program. Anything else that we haven't talked about already that you want to make sure that anyone listening would know about the Warrior Women?
Well, mainly I just want them to think about the things we've talked about today, kind of go over the website, and if they just want to go to that enroll button and fill out the paperwork, if you are struggling, please reach out to us. We know we want you part of our sisterhood. We know you don't want to be alone anymore. We want you to consider that we could be the place where you could land and find fellowship, sisterhood, and love.